Okay, so what was our last episode? What did we just cover? The Enemy Within.
We just covered The Enemy Within, and now we are going to cover Mud's Women.
Yep.
Released October 13th, 1966, and this is air date, air order number 6. It was the 4th one filmed, right? Let's see. Production code 4, yes.
And it was directed by Harvey Hart, which I don't know much about Harvey. You know Harvey Hart?
I don't, but they said in the book I was reading, he tended to edit in camera, and they don't like that. They want to be able to have all those shots so that they can make the story outside. And he would do editing in the camera. He never would return. He was never invited back, I think.
He was another Canadian like Mr. Shatner.
Oh.
And he had worked for the Canadian Broadcasting System. Okay, cool. So that's our guy, editing in camera, not doing it otherwise. And okay.
Who wrote the story? Oh, yeah. This was a Gene Roddenberry story. And it wasn't selected as one of the opening ones, and they brought this other guy in to touch it up.
So it was a Gene Roddenberry idea with Stephen Kandel, who wrote the teleplay, I guess, at the direction of Gene Roddenberry.
Gene, and lots of changes. I think they say Gene never wanted to quit editing. You know, he'd be going to the last moment changing if he could. It was never done.
Never done. So thank you for your nice little comments and your notes there. I like that. All right. So we can start with what happened. What caused the crisis?
The deflector shields around him to protect that ship.
Right. Do we know why he was running away from them, though? I mean, we know why he was running, but do we know why he was running away from the Enterprise is just out there flying around doing their own little stuff, right? So
hey, but it's like what do you do when there's a cop behind you? You
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And you know that Harry Mudd, he's done something somewhere behind him, he left somewhere. Besides, we find out later that he's not Leo Walsh and he stole the ship. Well, stole it. Oh, well, Leo Walsh was to be my captain, right? He took the ship. So come on, if they check, it's best that if the cops are behind you, you just leave because...
You just go,
Yeah. But to run, that's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a salt question for you. It's kind of like the salt episode.
Come on, it's easy. It's easy to mine that stuff.
Okay. Well, the dilithium crystals, right? This ship runs on it's like running on gasoline, right, in my car. And knowing that I'm going to be traveling around for months on the Earth, I better have a plan on where I'm going to get some more gasoline, or at least carry more fuel than I need in my thing.
I think that...
Why don't they have extra dilithium crystals? Or lithium. I'm sorry, they call them lithium crystals in this episode.
In this episode, right? They change that later, right?
Yeah.
I think I interpret lithium crystals as not something that is consumable. They abuse them. I would more akin to a carburetor. They've got Bussard ramjets probably on the front sucking up helium and making antimatter, using antimatter and the helium that they find, and they're making energy from that antimatter and matter, right? They're controlling it with the lithium crystals. I think that they stress them out. They're not going to last with us pulling all the power through them. That's not where the power is made. It's not gasoline. No. They don't need normally they don't. Why they got 4? It's like 3 more than they normally need. You know, well, it's double, right? We can't pull all the stuff through one with one bad crystal with a hairline fracture at the bottom, right? But 2 good ones probably do the trick, and now they double it up, and they've got 2 engines. Hey, should be good. I think it's a carburetor-y kind of mechanism.
Gotcha.
I could be.
I like it. I like your I like the explanation. It's good.
Yeah, they don't need extra. They don't need extra for their normal.
So it's kind of like a fuse.
Yeah, right.
In a way, in a kind, maybe not, but it's more like like you said, a carburetor. Carburetor is a good analogy.
Go get it cleaned up or replaced maybe every 5 years when their mission is done, right? Or go into space dock, no big deal.
Yeah, they got him there.
But this Harry Mudd guy, boy, he really abused.
Stressed out the ship. That poor ship's been through hell already, and we're only 4 episodes deep. 6 episodes deep, but 6 episodes. So,
do you think that NBC liked to have another episode that was like this, a lot happening on the ship and no fighting and shooting? Do you think that this was a?
I don't know. I think they were. I don't know. I didn't get that. I think they were indiscriminate about it, weren't they? Do you think the higher ups were saying, let's keep more contained on the ship? What the book that I listened to that you had told me before, the guy said he was trying to save money because NBC wasn't giving him a whole lot, and it was Desilu that was paying for it. So they were trying to conserve money. That's why after season 2, he reduced the budget. He said it wasn't NBC that reduced the budget. He did because he didn't want Desilu paying so much per episode. So I think if that would have happened, they would have made. I don't know what NBC was thinking, but except for the color televisions, which happens later, right? Remember?
What do you mean?
Oh, you didn't hear about the color television?
What do you think?
Oh, color television was taken off about the same time as Star Trek. Star Trek was one of the first shows that was
all color.
In color. Yeah. So as color televisions were taken off, therefore so did Star Trek. After they kind of went through its failure, but still it got a lot of traction because of color, right?
Like the Wizard of Oz. Whoa, Technicolor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a good question, but I haven't heard anything about what NBC was thinking. I know you like the ship contained in the bottle, as you say.
Bottle episode. Yeah, I loved it. Oh, but they did get on the planet. They did build that. That was the first use of, I think, a set, right? A planet set.
Oh, they did.
That's
right. They did. That's right. So it wasn't a complete bottle episode. That's right.
Yeah.
So when you were saying why didn't they take the shuttlecraft down? But I was wondering because that planet, the atmosphere and weather was so severe, it appears. I don't know if the shuttlecraft would have been able to handle it. You think?
Well, they didn't even make it. The shuttlecraft isn't available yet until.
I know, right? It wasn't available, but I'm thinking even if it was available. So give us the shuttlecraft story. Now I think is a good time to introduce shuttlecraft because is the next episode shuttlecraft? Okay, so give us your shuttlecraft
story.
Yeah.
The previous episode was The Enemy Within. They could have used one there.
Right.
Here they just beamed down a couple of guys onto a inhospitable planet.
Right. Because the planet was falling apart. Right.
This planet?
No. In the Naked Time.
You're right. Naked Time. They couldn't use it there.
Yeah. But now we're in one where Mudd's women, I guess they could have, but they're just taking those women down. Now, let's talk about the women and stuff, because that's pretty much where it was. I was kind of like that in college, in high school, in elementary school, and when I was born. I mean, you know how all the women came on and the guys were transfixed by the women or captivated? I was captivated my whole life. I still am.
They had something. Right. They had something and we wanted it. We didn't know what it was when we were kids, but they had it.
And Bones is asking, are they any more attractive than any other woman? I don't know.
Pound for pound.
I did look up all the women on there. So one was a Playboy playmate. Did you know that? Did you look that up?
Yeah.
One had been a pretty accomplished actress, the blonde one. And let's see, I'm not sure which one was the playmate.
Susan Denberg, I think, the one from Sweden, and Maggie Threat was the brunette.
Yeah, and she was a singer. So she was an accomplished singer already. And the other one was accomplished actress. Mm-hmm. So all accomplished in their own way. So
were the drugs fake? They didn't do anything. They had to have done something.
Well, on that one where she's going through, and we're not there yet. Let's get to that toward the end, because we can even cut in a picture of before and after the placebo, right?
Right.
So even I don't know what she did her hair, but her eyes also got done. She got done pretty well. Yeah, Spock is no BS attitude, I got to tell you the eyelight story. I was going to tell you. I never told you the eyelight story, did I?
No.
So if you look at Kirk a lot, they use eyelights on Kirk. You know what an eyelight is, right?
Eyeliner.
No, eyelight. An eyelight.
Oh, highlight.
Not highlight. A light. It's a light. So they use it in cinematography. Yes. You know, even on is it The Enemy Within where he split, right? The bad Kirk. Okay.
Yep.
So his eyelight. So one of my friends, when I first moved to Los Angeles, he was a cinematographer. He was an actual cinematographer in Los Angeles. He was telling me one time he was working, lighting the actors on a scene, and he did an eye light like they do on Kirk a lot. And the guy goes, "Why is that light on his eyes? Get that light off of his eyes." And he said the director didn't know it was an eye light, and that's what the effect he was looking to get. So it was pretty interesting that. So, but I don't know why he wrote the eye light. Somewhere in this episode there was an eye light, and it reminded me.
I think we saw a very heavy or sharp one when Charlie X made one of the guys disappear in the gym, and Kirk walks up to him. What happened to my guy, right?
Oh, yeah. I
think that was really...
I think they use it a lot in Star Trek. They do a lot of highlight to intensify things. I just kind of wrote, that they had the Rigel 12, which they refer to a lot, I think. I don't know if this is the first time they referred to Rigel 12, but...
Methuselah.
I put 12 on this one. So on this episode, you saw it, right? Oh, so there's no more. You're saying there's no more.
Of the number 12, there's more Rigels.
All right, I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off, okay? But I'm going to say it anyway. So I just talked about the lithium crystals and them burning out, and I did like your explanation. But when Scotty comes back, and Spock is saying, well, just divert the power from the thing. He goes, I can't, Captain, it's burnt out. The Enterprise had to be a complete piece of crap. I would have hated to work on the Enterprise. Nothing worked. He can't even divert power.
Because blankety blank was ruined.
Yeah, I know. But my point is, why did it, everything burns out. It's like everything burns out. And I know that the writing, and they only have 50 minutes to go through their whole situation and bring it back and get it back on course.
Where No Man Was Gone before, and they had to go, everything blew up, and they had to go down to the planet and pick up those panels to drop them into the bridge.
Yeah.
Station. Yeah. Fits like a glove.
Yeah.
They didn't have fuses. We know that.
Divert the power. I can't. It's burnt out. I did like Scotty's acting right there, though. It was pretty good, pretty intense acting.
The entire power is feeding through one crystal, right?
No, not through. Yeah, no, the crystal was cracked and broken, right? Mm-hmm. So he said divert the power. Spock said divert the power.
Kirk says, we'll switch to bypass circuits. We burned them all out when we superheated, Captain. That jackass Walt not only wrecked his own vessel, but in saving his skin, if it makes you feel any better, engineer, that's one jackass we're going to see skinned.
Yeah.
But that's not the part that you're talking about, because Scotty walked up to Spock when he was sitting at the main console.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yes, better rig a bypass circuit. Can't. We blew the whole converter assembly. Now you're saying the ship's bad. If the converter assembly is blown, he can't divert power.
Right. I mean,
it's blown up because of the extreme amount of energy that was flowing through those crystals trying to protect the damn ship.
Right. No, I get that. That. But there's just no, in this ship that's going to be out on a 5-year tour in space where it's a vacuum. They got no oxygen outside the thing. They have to depend on themselves until they get from one place to another. They're on their own and everything blows out. And it's like this poor damn Enterprise, it's always just floating in space, right? So I'm just kind of wondering, I think the writing would be better if they wouldn't have had so many obstacles on the ship to overcome, because it happens time and time and time again.
Okay, but why does the Martian work where he is constantly running into problem after problem that he has to solve?
Who is?
The Martian.
Oh, because that's different. He wasn't supposed to be there, right? He was left inadvertently and they thought he was dead. And so he had to step up and be the man that took care of himself, right? That's a totally different situation. He had to improvise, and like he said, I got to science the hell out of this, right? So it wasn't the same thing. They weren't anticipating on the Martian leaving Matt Damon's character behind. They thought he was going to go with him on the trip back. And when they couldn't find him and he actually was alive, he had to do it himself. So that's why that works, because he has to keep going through the hoops to make something that's almost impossible possible. Whereas the Enterprise was designed for a 5-year space mission, where the designers, I did know a designer that worked at JPL, Jet Propulsion, and he said all he did all day was play video games on his machine, right? And he was an actual designer of the spacecraft. So he said one of his things was he said he was addicted to games and he was trying to break himself from being addicted. Because that's what he did all day. So I could see those guys going, it's good enough.
Go explore some worlds.
No, they go like this. I mean, they've got a date, right? So they're going, well, we're going to launch look, man, our hard launch date is space, what do they call that?
Stardate 13.
Yeah, Stardate. We're going to 1300. We're launching on Stardate 1300. And some people go, well, it's not quite ready. Oh, what was that one that was an actual disaster? Oh, the Enterprise, wasn't that the Enterprise blew up, right? 13? On the Enterprise, they go, lithium crystals, those aren't even natural to the Earth. Well, where do you get them from? Oh, we got to go over to Saturn to get these things. Well, just go out and get us a few of them, will you?
I think they spend a little more time on it than that.
Man, I'm gonna get some hate comments on this one.
Let's take a bus that was designed to go between a couple of solar systems, and we're gonna send them out to outer space, totally unprepared, no sleeping bag.
But if you look at it, just look at it. The bypass circuits are fried. They're just picking up one little ship, right? That mud ship wasn't that big. It wasn't like this huge, massive ship that they're gonna encompass and stuff, right? They're just trying to save the ship.
Oh, but wait a minute. You knew that that ship was way the heck out there. They said,
yes.
Didn't the navigator say, whoa, are you sure you want to do this?
Yes, they did. They did tell Kirk.
This is not something you would normally do.
Well, Kirk does say, well, would you rather save some people? But even Kirk knows on all the other episodes where they're saying he puts the ship first, right? It's the ship and the crew. Well, he definitely didn't put them first on this.
No, he said, I'm going to find out how much you can put up with. Then I'll know better next time.
Let's find out what this thing can. We got no more lithium crystals, Captain.
Shakedown cruise.
So they blew the whole damn ship apart.
You're right. Yep.
Crisis. Like, they shouldn't have had the bypass circuits fry, because I'll tell you why. Because it wasn't that critical to say that, and they already knew that they needed the lithium crystals. So that's
already an issue. The crystals.
It's already an issue. They already have a big problem that they got to solve. Why throw another one at it? Like, I just don't. They didn't need it. It just makes the Enterprise seem like a empty Coke can with a bottle rocket inside of it.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's good that you raise these issues as a I want to call you an outsider, right? Where I buy into all of it, but I don't. I am an
outsider. That's why I want to hear what you have to say. I am an outsider.
However, I don't buy into how quickly they solve the problem at the end. What, to get their drugs and it still works? So we'll have to talk about that. Whereas I guess I just slough over the idea. Oh yeah, the Enterprise blew up, but they'll make it go. Got a lathe on board. We got the professor from Gilligan's Island. We can take a couple coconuts and make a nuclear reactor here.
Yeah. But don't you think they should have engineered either not wrote so many critical issues happening with the Enterprise, or, I mean, I think they could have solved it writingly better. Were they under that big of a time pressure to write these episodes that you think that they had to throw that in?
No, these things are rewritten to death. I can't believe how many months changes go and how many people it goes through.
Yeah.
It's amazing how long it takes to get this thing so that it turns into a filmable, right? Episode. Right. So they've got Now, not that they're not under pressure, right?
Right.
They have a timeline. This is just a business to them.
Right.
But it is a long time. It's not like, oh, you've got 2 days to crank this out. There are months of changing hands and people putting ideas in and stuff. So your little criticism I think you are okay in saying, well, couldn't you have hammered this out? And
or just not throwing that in there. I think it was an unnecessary addition to an issue Enterprise. I think it was totally unnecessary. I would have been happy if that was a part that either got left on the cutting room floor or not been put into the script.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes the Enterprise seem too cheap. Like there's too many issues with the Enterprise. I would just, if I was someone stationed on the Enterprise, I would have said, man, let me off at Space Station 14. I'm just going to take my chances getting back home, right? 5 years on this thing.
Right, and they just took off. We had where No Man had gone before, and they had to go get something on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And now this episode, they had to go get something from a planet.
Right.
Maybe you're right. It's breaking down.
So here's the part I did like, though. I did like where the guys are threatening Kirk with the lithium crystals because they want mud and they want the women. And I did like the way he says, he just starts laughing at him and says, you're out of your mind. You guys are way out here. You don't have any, you guys are worse off than we are. We need lithium crystals, but you guys need support system. You need people to bring you supplies. I love that part of it because I thought that was a really good part where Kirk just kind of stood up and said, hey, man, you guys are full of it.
That was women. I loved that line Is there anything else?
Yeah.
That's right. And Harry Mudd, either way, I've agreed to have him released. Charges dropped. Is there anything else? You've got no choice, Kirk. And he comes right back. And his partner is not quite the poker player. He's looking at him like, we're going to lose this.
Yeah.
But is it Childress? Childress is the one who's trying to do the poker thing. He's a tougher guy.
Yeah.
You've got no choice, Kirk. You beam the landing party down and you won't find one blessed crystal.
Yeah.
No deal.
I loved it. I loved how Kirk says, look, I've got a boundary here and you're not stepping past it.
Yeah, but so quick to realize when another crystal, sir, that he's really painted in a corner. He should already know what the hell's going to go down.
Yeah.
Or does he have so much not courage, but he knows that he can solve this kind of problem. He thinks that this is something he can get around.
I think so. I think you see that in Kirk a lot. The way they developed his character and stuff, I think that you could see that he knows he can either get himself out of it or just sacrifice the Enterprise and say, you know what, here's a line, and either way I'm going to win, right? Either way, it's a no-win for your position. Either way, right? So that's what I did like about the way they wrote this character, that's Kirk's character. Now, as far as the women are concerned, what did you think about the whole idea? I think it was like we were looking at the 60s, and it was a sign of the times, I think, on the 60s, like a woman needing a husband and vice versa. It was pretty much, it was the 60s though, right? So it was also free love. So I'm not sure what to make of this episode, thinking of that part of it.
So the women, he's peddling them. Obviously, he's an agent, right?
But they were kind of like looking for it, right? The women wanted to go out.
Yes, and he came up with a brilliant plan, or he was on a planet where this came to him while he was doing some other nefarious thing, and he goes, "Wait a minute, if I could scam, I could be an agent and say I will find you men. I'll just go find rich people." And he thought of this up and proposes it to these ladies who are really, it's the same for all of us, right? They're all looking for men. Fine. So they both have a need. Mudd wants his money, and so they make a deal. It could happen. A positive person has a different kind of effect, right? Someone who feels confident, right? They're more attractive, a confident person, right?
So that one woman, whereas the other ones were more just kind of in with going with the flow. I forget the actress's name, but is it not Susan?
Susan, I think, is the...
Susan was the other one. I'm talking about Karen, right? Karen's thing, and I don't know what her name is in the show, but you know, the blonde, the main blonde character.
To go that snagged Kirk.
Yeah, went to go get Kirk. Yeah.
Eve is her name.
So Eve's character is an interesting character to me because
Eve McKieran.
Was she fully developed? I'm not sure, because she, in one way, is a very strong woman, but a very insecure woman. So she's an insecure, strong woman. You know, when she has her own power, and yet she seems just too, I don't know, kind of not secure in her own self, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. She spoke up at the meeting, at the board meeting. She also said, I can't do this. She has morals or opinions or, okay, so she's waffling. Is she, what did you say, insecure?
Well, I think she's a powerful woman, but an insecure woman. She's insecure and powerful both. I think when she stands up for herself, she definitely stands up. But like when she runs out of the room or she says, fight over them because I'm the last one. Like, no one wants me, and kind of like just really insecure about her own self. But when she does stand up, I don't know, maybe she was running away from something. I don't know what her backstory was, but she did kind of come across both ways, right? She was a main pivotal character, I think, in this episode, because they do the placebo on her too, and she doesn't really understand that it's just a placebo, right? So she has it in her, obviously.
Yeah.
Because she took the placebo and said, hey, look at me now. You know, here I am again. Is this what you want? Yeah.
It's the same story for all of us, Captain. No men. Eve says, mine was a farm planet with automated machines for company, and then 2 brothers to cook for, mend their clothes, canal mud a foot thick on their boots every time they walked in. Fine, Evie, fine. No, it's not fine.
So that's, So I guess she just wanted to get away from what her life was to another. But honestly, dude, I don't know about the planet that these women picked. So these women on this planet with these 3 guys, right? 3 women, 3 men. She can't even go outside. I mean, she's almost dying. And how long was she outside? I don't know, but not too long, right? So the exposure to the outside. So she's pretty much confined with this miner, and the other 2 women are confined with them. I think they should have considered their options a little bit more. They should have went to one of the planets that had a hell of a lot more men so that they could socialize and stuff for a while. They did pick a man, right? Instead of just kind of.
But we had Harry Mudd, the twister of the truth, say, but no, wait, think, men, isolated, lonely men. He built up the thing as being a great thing for them. The lithium crystals are dead. The ship is dead. They're stopping off. Wait a minute. Why don't we use this as an opportunity? He made it sound good.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you put a second thought into it, maybe it wasn't such a good option.
They'd go, well, come on.
I mean, they had more men on the ship. What did they got? Is a complement of 400 people in the Enterprise?
Yeah. Right, 428, 430, something like that.
Let's say that it's 2/3 men, 1/3 women. You still have a heck of a lot more options on a spaceship than you do on that planet.
Yes, but let's throw in some human characteristics. Rich lithium miners.
Right.
I mean, you go, whoa, wait a minute. So we're going.
And that's what he told her. I could buy 3 of you or something like that. I could buy 3 queens or something like that.
Oh.
When she reverted back to her quote unquote homely looks, or I don't know what.
He was really mean.
Oh, he was incredibly mean. He's quite an accomplished actor, though. I didn't know that.
I've got enough
close encounters
crystals already to buy queens.
Yeah.
By the gross. And then he's all about, I didn't touch her.
Yeah. I didn't touch her. See, because he was escaping from a planet. That's why I went to this lonely thing, because he had been accused of touching a woman before. So he's escaping. I'm just making this up. I'm making up his backstory, Bruce. It's not true. So because he said, I didn't touch her 3 or 4 times, right? She goes, oh, your male ego. Because he goes to her, I didn't touch you. And then she's going, oh, you and your male ego. And then he tells Kirk and the other guy, oh, I didn't touch her, right?
Yeah. Been bubbling with gratitude ever since.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? You like this episode a lot. So tell me your overall. I mean, you seem very happy to watch this episode. So overall, and I think I need to stop talking. In our next episodes, I want to kind of pull more out of you on what you're feeling and thinking about these episodes, because I really want to get it from your point of view. And I think I put way too much of what I'm thinking about it in here.
No. I think, well, okay, maybe. I think I find it all interesting, your view. And as you were talking, I thought of two things, and I go, oh, well, that's no problem. We're going to get to that part.
So what are they?
I should have written that down. I was thinking of one of the things did you notice that they had a ramp that they were going down on the planet? So when they landed, they went behind a rock and they started to go down. It's very subtle. Apparently.
Oh, really?
The idea was that they would be living in a cave. The illusion went away when you saw the door essentially led straight to the outside, or I should say underground. Right. You right?
Yeah.
Right. But they went down a ramp. Oh, I'd like to tell you an embarrassing thing. I've watched this episode for how many years? Let's call it 40 years. And I always looked at the gel cap, the fake, what they say it was, he substituted
I forget
gelatin.
Yeah, the gelatin. Yeah.
So that scene zooms in or stops and looks at the gelatin, and it is noticeably different than the drugs that they had on the ship.
Right.
I watched this scene for all these years except for this time. I'm watching it and I'm looking at it and I get the same thought that I always do first. I look at that gelatin version and I go, hey, it doesn't have the sparklies in it. They forgot to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking, because the first one, they have the little sparklies in it, right?
Yeah.
The second one, I always go, they messed up. They forgot to do the sparklies. Well, that was the whole point. I just got that this time around, that, of course, it didn't have the sparklies in it. It wasn't the drug. That was feedback to the audience. They were showing the pill. That was fake. It was slightly different. They paused it on the first time, and then they paused it on it later on in the episode. I was supposed to, of all these years, have understood that, wait a minute, there's something different there. Like it was a foreshadowing, right? And I don't pick up on stuff, so it should have been at least, that's a foreshadowing. What's wrong here? Something's wrong. All the time I kept looking at it as, they forgot to put the special effect in.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
For decades. And this time I watched it, maybe because there was nobody, I was just concentrating on the episode. I stopped it and I couldn't believe how wrong I had it all these years. It's like, well, it's so obvious. It is the gelatin. Oh.
That's great. That's a good observation.
No, it was interesting. Every time I watch it, there's something new. I guess I'm going to take that as that was new to me.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's great. So what else did you notice? Well, here's what I noticed on even. But she comes around and she, when she's very plain looking, and this is what will cut in. And then when she turns around after she assumes that she's taken it, she's got her makeup on and everything else. So they did do the makeup to her and they did the other stuff. So it wasn't a complete internal transformation that they've done with her, which would have been really nice if they could have shown her as beautiful. However, we are looking at one of the things that I got to remind myself many times is we're looking at a 1960s show where you can't record this thing. You can't look at it again. They got to kind of give it to the audience and just say, like you said, with the gelatin tabs, right? There's a definite difference here, but with her face, there was a definite difference. If I didn't get to watch it again after I watched the episode, right? I would have said, oh, wow, she is transformed, right? Yes. And they'll say, yeah, it was gelatin tabs. Not the same thing, fast and make their statement real quick. Yeah.
Yes. They only have 48 minutes or something.
They only have 48 minutes. They got to get their commercials. So what else did you notice as you were going through it and saying, we'll get back to it?
How about the Maggie Threat, who made the sick bay scanner go bleep?
Oh, yeah.
Are they really pound for pound?
I love McCoy, how he's supposed to be this great doctor, right? And he's so clueless sometimes, right? It takes him so long to kind of wrap his brain around something. Like something's not quite right here, right? So, or he'll argue with Kirk or Spock a lot of times, and then he kind of goes, "Oh yeah, I think they were right about that," right? So I think he's contrary. He's like a contrary old
country doctor.
Country doctor, yeah. You know how they're contrary? Yeah, they got that in as his character pretty well too. He's contrary, and then he has to think about it. He goes, "Oh yeah, that could be right." And
he would be smart enough not to make my scanner go bleep.
Yeah. And then Mudd, when he's telling, "Oh yeah, don't worry about Spock. He's a different kind of guy. He's not even going to pay attention to you." You know. Yeah,
and they use the word Vulcanian. Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. I do like his acting there, where because hopefully he's going to mellow out after a while with this poor woman, because he's just too mean to her right at first. But when he's eating her food, he goes, "Look, it's no big deal. I cook myself all the time." And then he's eating it. I like the way he does that. So like, this is pretty damn good, right?
Yeah.
You know, did you see where did you watch that part where his face just kind of changes, where he's kind of like trying to be all gruff, but then he's like, this is delicious.
Right. And he kicked the chair, I think, I always watch that. He kicks the chair so that because she's washing, and he kicks the chair, makes some noise. Yeah. All gruff.
It's overall, I think it's a good episode. I think.
And very fun because we have Harcourt Fenton Mudd. He's hilarious. He's perfect for that part.
He is. I love the way he's kind of, he's a little too, where he's laughing and like he's going to pull one over on Captain Kirk, you know, he's like, "Yeah, we got this in the bag," right? When he sits down and kind of kicks back and he's laughing. And obviously there's no way in hell he's got this in the bag, but it is kind of a little funny thing where, you know, because people do that, right? They think, "Oh yeah, I got this," and then they turn around and it's just not there.
You could leave me on this planet. That would be punishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character. He's a scam artist. He's wheeler and dealer.
So we should start like scam artists too, because there's a few of them in here.
Are there a few in the episodes?
Yeah, there's him, and then there's the Trouble with Tribbles, the other guy.
Cyrano Jones.
Yeah, Cyrano Jones. Great. And Mudd comes back a couple times.
One more time with
One more time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, and he's in the animated probably.
Probably. But we're not covering those right now, so.
No.
So what's your score on this one, big fella?
This was fun. I loved it. Early episode. I hesitate to go closer to 85. So, you know, this is 82. Come on.
This is an 82?
Yeah.
Now, why do you rate it so high? I gotta find out why. What I really want to, like I said, I really kind of want to get into your thinking on these things. What makes it rated so high to you?
Why is this so entertaining?
So you're saying it rates so high because it's entertaining, right?
Yeah, there's some episodes that have so much in them, and I go, how did they get all those storylines in? And those I find interesting, but I don't know if I'd rate them high. And then this one, well, this is fun. This is funny. This is.
So what was so funny? Was it Mudd that was so funny to you?
Mudd is a great character.
Yeah.
And then the miners, Childress and Kirk and Spock. I mean, that's all interesting to watch.
I didn't think Spock had a very big part in this one. Do you think he had a big part? He was more like the keel. He was just even in this episode, I thought.
Okay, tell me how you rate this one so far.
Well, I think if you took out, it's kind of like my Tesla. People keep asking me how I like my Tesla. I don't like it. The reason is because there's too many mechanical issues.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the same thing. And I'm only bringing this up another way to deal with a crisis without having to say that the Enterprise had so many problems. I think it was hard for me to get past that bump. Like, if it was the dilithium or the lithium crystals, that would have been perfect for me. That's enough of a crisis. The Enterprise has too many issues. If I get past that, let's say I take the Enterprise issues out of it, yeah. I think that they were dealing with a lot of social issues. I think I don't know where they were going with it, though. It seems like they were so topsy-turvy on whether women looked that good or they wanted women to have more of an internal fortitude. You know what I mean? To say, hey, you're okay just like you are. Just take a gelatin tablet and you're going to be okay. So that's a really kind of actually a good message, I think, to give to women and anybody, actually, right? You're a good person just on your own. You really are just okay, just like you are. And I like that. So if I took the enterprise problems out, I'd be up there with you. I'd be up there 82, 83. But I think because of what happened,
because of reality, the story has this extra enterprise problems.
I think that they use that way too much in Star Trek to say, oh, we're spiraling into the planet, to use that because I know that they had to say, we have 40 minutes to solve this problem. We have 20 minutes to solve this problem. We have 10 minutes. They had to keep that. So there's a time pressure. And I know that there's something in cinema where you kind of want to put a time, like if someone gets kidnapped, you got to find them before they get killed, right? So there's a time pressure. And I know that they use the Enterprise for that, but I think they could have been, if they would have just stepped outside of the box and found another reason to do it, it would have been glorious. This one, I'd have put it at a 90. But right now, I think I'm going to give it a 65.
Okay.
As the Enterprise. The Enterprise brings it down, but the story arc and some of the development, I think it was up there.
Okay, that sounds fair. I was going, he's going to give it a 60.
So I don't know. I know that we're going to get into that bump again, just because I know that you use the Enterprise a lot.
Sure.
There's issues with the Enterprise. With the transporter, right? They have an issues with that. Oh, and one that we're going to get into, you talk about your shuttle. There's a problem with the shuttle. So they use the issues with that to get
mechanical stuff to put a limit on the show, a deadline. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I think it's overused. And I think they didn't need it in this one. I don't know. Would you have been comfortable? Just let me ask you as a fan, would you have been comfortable without the secondary bypass not working? I mean, if they just didn't bring that up at all, with the lithium crystals being fried, broken, and burnt, I think that's enough of a crisis, don't you? I mean, that's a big crisis. We're running out of gas here, boss.
You raise a good point about what's going to happen is we're going to watch all of these other episodes, and I am going to be glossing all over these plot, thickenings. these things that you could have made this episode sharper and tighter, and you didn't need that. And I'll go, I never thought about that.
No, I love the way you think about it, though. Like instead of saying it's gasoline, you said it's a carburetor. It's a totally different part of the car, right? It's great. I love the way you think about it because you have a brilliant way of thinking about it. Right? It's just brilliant that where I'm thinking, oh, this is so critical. And you're going, it's a part that broke, right? Yeah, I like that. But I got to stop talking first with you. I got to start because I think you've got so much gold to give on these episodes of Star Trek, and it's really more about you than me. I do have my observations in this stuff, but honestly, they don't matter as much as yours do.
I'll start and I'll fail. What is it? The first guy who talks?
No, I really do to put your observations, and that way I can just kind of ask you. But I mean, there was a lot of stuff in here. You can see I didn't get into it as much as I normally would on these things, but because I think it really is a cultural thing that was happening in this episode. It was kind of a cultural. I don't know what Roddenberry was trying to say in this, or if he was just trying to crank out an episode. But I think he had an idea. I just don't think it was fleshed out, I should say. It wasn't fleshed out as much as I think they wanted to get in this. So, but I don't think Spock had much to do in this episode. I think his screen time. Am I wrong? I mean, he
had his moments. No, this is not a Spock episode or anything, or even an equal Spock episode. But he got the elevator. He got to work with Scotty. He got to introduce the captain to the captain's quarters. So he had his scenes.
I think Spock played it really well. And I think that they wrote for Spock very well in this one because he's not into the girls like the other guys are. It's just not his kind of deal, right? It's not his work.
When I was reading the book, the writer said that when the camera zoomed in on, he was actually emoting something different than what Mudd was saying. Mudd was saying that you can turn it off, women, because these women don't affect him at all. And the writer said, but you could see from the smirk on his face that, and he wasn't going to, and I didn't get that at all. The writer made a comment to, oh no, he was, you don't think the women affect me? So if that's the case and I'm wrong, then I would say, they're still fleshing out Spock's character, and they don't.
Well, go to 839. If you got, I don't know, how do you watch it? Your episode? How do you watch your episode? Yeah, I mean the contrast between Spock and Kirk right in this right here on 830 something, 830 to 830 something, you can see the difference between Kirk's reaction and Spock's reaction to the women. When they're going in, I think they're going into the captain's quarters or somewhere. Where are they going into? Oh, it's when Kirk is first. Oh, it's in his current quarters, right? Doesn't he say, bring him to my quarters whether or not he's okay?
Yes, right. Oh, yeah, he's a mean captain.
Ladies, is this your crew, Captain? Oh, what a crew, Captain. This is the cargo.
But look at Kirk and look at Spock. Their reaction is totally different with these women. I think Spock finds them more. Oh, and even on the transporter beam, I think Spock is kind of like looking at the guys because they're not really doing their job. That's like three minutes and maybe a little bit past 3:40. Let's see. I'm trying to see when they're on the transporter. Oh, I guess Spock is the one beaming them on board. But then he's looking over at the reaction to the guys once the girls are on board. Break it up, man. If we don't get them over here right now. Breaking up, man.
Okay, they're beaming aboard.
The girls?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
The men are affected, but Harry Mudd is not affected.
No, because he's been flying around with them, Look at Spock. He's looking over at Scotty and McCoy. See that?
Yes, right.
And then he's kind of crossing his arms. He's going, this ain't going to work on me. Now look at Spock. He's kind of giving McCoy a really awful look on 650 on mine. Look at how he's looking at McCoy. That is a classic. Now let me see. I could actually snip this and send you a picture of it. And then he has the same thing when they get him to the captain's quarters, kind of like just looking at it like, this is interesting. But he is a science officer, so, it has scientific relevance.
Oh, yes. When he's in the captain's quarters, he's just giving the captain crap.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? But so that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a whole lot of big, more of a few reactionary things. And then in Kirk's quarters, he's got like a little smirk on his face.
Exactly.
I think those are what we have to put up in our episode, this episode. Anyway, but so I think they did a good job on that. I mean, you're right. It is funny. It is a funny episode.
Lighting is interesting and sharp. A lot of contrast. And you called the eye light?
Oh yeah, the eye lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on about 842, and you can see kind of an eye light on Kirk. He's turning away from it, but it's definitely there. Oh, we're gonna get into some great episodes. There are some episodes that I think are fantastic. Another one that reminds me of is that one with that crazy woman. She's also cargo, I think, right? Oh, they're taking her to get married.
Oh,
God, I love that one.
Elas.
Yeah.
Planet. Her name is what is it? Troy of Elon.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. I think that's way toward the end, though. We're not even close to that one. I like some of that are coming up. I do. I really do. I like Daggers of the Mind. I thought that was pretty good.
Elan of Troyes. Daggers of the Mind. I love the line that she says, the assistant. I always quote it.
On which one?
I love my work. Lethe.
Oh, right.
But with a very flat face, a very, with no expression whatsoever. I love my work.
So this one is an 82. You're putting our ratings down, right? 82, and I've got a split on mine.
You have a 65. I put.
Oh, yeah, you put it in there.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that was Spock's character in this one. I think he wasn't affected as much as everyone else was. So yeah. Anyway, or the other ones. I don't even, was he down on the planet? He was, wasn't he? Or was he? I can't remember.
No, he wasn't. He went down with Mud. Only the three. Kirk, Mud, and then Childress and Eve were already there.
Yeah. Well, he's down there. He's down there doing something. I don't know what he's doing though.
No. Let's see.
Yeah, Spock is there. Is that when he goes back to look for the...
We don't have time for all this nonsense, he says, right?
Yeah, it's...
I always watch his feet go pound down, the heel of his foot hit the table. And I always view it as two hits, one with one and one with the other, but that's not really what happens. Only one of them makes some real noise.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So they just put in that other sound effect?
I don't know. No, that's probably just me putting it in as if it
no, there's two boot hits. Yeah, there's two boot hits.
Kevin's log.
Oh, you beautiful galaxy.
Heaven's own truth.
He must have been a theater actor. Okay, here you go. Here's the two boot heels. Let me see if they actually hit the table, though. You're right. One of them just gets to the other foot. Yeah. There you go. Well, we wrapped another one.
Classic. First season. Fun to watch. Yeah. Another excellent episode with lots of holes in it. I'm sure you're going to alert me to that I have never seen before. It's the perfect episode. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Your show was excellent. Look at that. I like that you have that behind you.
Oh, Mud's Women?
Yeah, I think that was so nice. It's a great shot of the Enterprise, and it has the title, and it's right there. I mean, got it. Unexpected.
All right, dude. You have a great night. Be good.
Yeah. And if you can't be good, don't get caught.
If you can't be good, just be. Oh. All right. Can I do it? He can do it. I can do it.
Good job.
All right, man. Good night.
Good night.
All right, so you know how to kick it off, right? You're going to introduce which one it is, when it was aired, what the episode is, who directed it, who, blah, blah, blah.
Blah. There's a lot of the blah, blah, blah. No more blah, blah, blah.
No more blah, blah.
Bonk on the head.
That's another episode.
Gary, coming up soon.
Coming up soon.
Hey, you've got the words for the episode that we're covering. Yes.
I do.
You done good.
Thanks, boss.
Okay, this is perfect. You're on the right side of the post for me, and we're in the camera where it's supposed to go, and then it says Muds on the left side of the post. This is great.
And if I do that, I'll do that every once in a while during the thing.
And I'll look down going, where's our host gone?